I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck and say that the Star Wars fandom, the toxic levels of it, are probably much higher in my opinion than almost any other fandom that you can possibly think of, including the anime fandoms, anything with Dragon Ball, anything like that. Star Wars is definitely up there and probably surpassing everything because you can never make them happy. I've heard so much criticism and so much hate toward the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, which to me was something that I was so hyped for. I mean, my last video in this channel was about that episode, and I thought that it was phenomenal. I thought it was one of the best episodes of Star Wars and the best live action Star Wars that I had ever seen, but people are not happy with it. They're not content. Number one is the criticism on the CGI, the prosthetic, whatever they use to create Cad Bane in real life. People are upset that he looks different than his Clone Wars counterparts, and I would say that driving this argument is Cinematic Captures, who created a new version of him that looks more like the Clone Wars version. Now, he stated himself that he's just doing it for fun and to see what it looks like, but this opened a can of worms where the entire fandom is at war whether he looks better in that version than the one that we got to the Book of Boba Fett. And to me, I think that one looks realistic and one looks obviously cartoony. The realistic one looks like what that species looks like realistically in live action. Even the color of the skin, the dude is like a senior citizen at this point, so he definitely would have lighter skin tone than what he would in the Clone Wars. This looks cartoony as all hell, and it just doesn't fit the scene. It doesn't fit the Book of Boba Fett aesthetic. It just doesn't. And I believe people are just there to complain about this regardless. I don't think that Cinematic Captures meant anything nefarious with this. I just think that his animation opened up a can of worms from the toxic Star Wars fandom that, you know, I honestly hadn't even thought about since Last Jedi, because Last Jedi was the moment that they actually killed the franchise. It was them that killed it, not Lucasfilm, not any of the presidents there. No, it was the fandom that killed it with their reception of The Last Jedi, which to me was not a bad movie. Next, we have the CGI on Luke. People are complaining the opposite of this and saying that it looks too realistic, because this CGI of Luke is 100% original, and even the voice is cut from the old dialogue from Luke from all the movies and TV series he's been in. Basically, they took all that dialogue and they put it in a computer. The computer is a brand new program that splits up the dialogue and makes new dialogue seem authentic. People are upset with this because they think that this is going to be used horribly when it comes to movies. This deepfake stuff is actually kind of scary, and the technology with it is scary, but it's going in this direction. It's now being used by Disney, one of the biggest companies in the world. So, you know, it's not something that you can stop. You can criticize it, of course. I think that he looked fantastic. I thought that they used Mark Hamill's lines. I thought they used his face. They didn't. They used the CGI versions of it, or the deepfake versions of it, and the deepfake version of his voice. But it just looked good. It was great seeing them together with Ahsoka and Grogu and him training him. It was actually eerie how good it was and how lifelike it was and how much life there was behind his eyes compared to the ending of The Mandalorian Season 2. To me, I understand this argument. I feel like is more valid. I understand the caution toward it. I don't think there's much that you can do about it. But I do think that this was done in good faith, and I think that Luke looked phenomenal. At the end of the day, you cannot please everyone, and you can't please the majority of the Star Wars fandom.